This is Judy Sarden, and I'm here with Aeshia Branch, founder of Pretty Girls Sweat. And Aeshia's going to talk to us today about just how high school students need to really step up their game with regard to just being professional. We're in a digital age now. People are doing these Zoom calls. They're doing video conferencing, when you're having to prepare for college. Some of them ask for video admission submissions. So we're really going to talk today about how high school kids and really middle school kids really should start doing this. Just conducting yourself in a professional way with texts and things like that. We've become really casual, and we need to be mindful that there's a time and place for that. But when we're trying to get our professionalism going, we're trying to contact internships, we're talking to admissions counselors, we're talking to people in certain area, we've got to have our game together. So Aeshia is going to talk to us. She works with tons of high school kids, and so she's seen it all. And so she's going to talk to us a bit about what you kids need to be doing in order to really, really stand apart from everyone else. So Aeshia, why don't you first tell us about Pretty Girls Sweat?
Well, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here. Pretty Girl Sweat has been a passion project for me, and it turned into a business.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in fitness fun since 2011 with our transformational wellness events. We make fitness very affordable for people as well and turn fitness into a party. So we've also kind of made our mark with conversation starting apparel. I have on one of our t-shirts now, people love to wear Pretty Girl Sweat, because it really does get people to stop and ask you, what does that mean? Or they say, yeah, pretty girls do sweat. The words are kind of, they flip the ingrained negative perception of sweat. Many people think that sweating is gross and it's not feminine. And we're here to change that conversation and to have people realize, especially women, that getting active is a beautiful thing. And the more you do it, the more everyone will look towards you as an example, and then they'll want to get active too. So that's pretty much what Pretty Girl Sweat is. We also have campus chapters all over the country where we're training health leaders to host Pretty Girl Sweat events on their campus to get young women active now, so that way when they become mothers, they'll lead active and healthy households.
I love that, because you kind of start in high school and you're kind of looking at an end game, because once you have those kids, people tend to slow down. And if you're watching this video, Aeshia's a mom of two. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. And if you have anything to aspire to when you become a mom, is Aeshia Branch here. So she's living what she preaches, and that's what I love about her. So Aeshia, tell us kind of what you see with kind of how kids have kind of adopted this whole, everything is casual all the time.
Well, I definitely have witnessed hundreds and hundreds of girls truly feel like they're in a digital age, and they're very comfortable with being on FaceTime. When we were growing up, FaceTime wasn't something that we access, but FaceTime for them is just a regular phone call, and they have become very relaxed in some of the most professional situations. I've noticed with our program in particular, our applicants are required to submit videos, and when they do them, some of them go above and beyond. I will say they'll deliver some like crazy production that I'm like, wow, you didn't have to do that much, but that really stood out, and that's amazing. You have nailed it. Whereas others will be in their bedroom and it's kind of dark, and their bed isn't made and clothes are thrown all over the place, and they deliver very heartfelt messaging as to why they want to be a part of Pretty Girl Sweat. But it's hard to not be distracted by the poor lighting, the, and all the mess that's surrounding them, because it makes me wonder about them as a person. That's the first impression that I'm getting of them. And then when I interview them, I may not see a difference in, the initiative or the effort that they put in coming on camera and trying to impress me. They could be an outstanding candidate, have all the right answers, but will be in a t-shirt, or their hair isn't done, or I've seen everything from chewing gum to answering the phone on an interview. I'm just like, what is going on? So those are all no-nos. No matter where you're interviewing, even if it's for a wellness brand, you should take it seriously. You should always, dress your best because first impressions are everything. How I see you for the first time is how I'm going to remember you. So yeah, those are some of the things that I've been seeing.
So what are some suggestions that you have for kids who are, and even though, Aeshia works with girls, this obviously applies to boys too. What are some things that you think kids, like, kind of, if you've got your top 3 or 5 things that they need to be mindful of when they are on camera, whether it's an interview or anything where they're not just chucking it up with their friends? What are some tips that you can give them?
Okay, well, tip number 1 is to arrive to the meeting on time, even though it's a virtual situation. Respect the time of the person that's interviewing you and arrive on time. Secondly, be prepared. And prepared means dressing appropriately. So whether you are, and this is in real life too, if you're interviewing for Foot Locker or McDonald's, or if you're interviewing for an internship at a Fortune 500 company, you want to dress accordingly. So you may not want to wear like a full suit to a McDonald's interview, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you look polished and professional and you have on attire that is acceptable. So I wouldn't show up in a sweatsuit. I wouldn't show up with your hair not done or not cut, with your hands not moisturized. All those things can be distracting and people can look at those things. So make sure that you have pride in yourself, and that's just not even for the interviewer, that's for you. Like, you want to make sure that you walk into any space, or even if you're on camera, that there's something about you that the interviewer wants to say something about. They may be like, wow, those are some beautiful earrings, or wow, I love that, that shirt. That's, where'd you get that from? All of those things are conversation starters that can help you stand out from another applicant. So really use that opportunity to shine rather than to have them like side eye you and wonder, what were you thinking? Another thing that is important is to be prepared with questions. Sometimes I interview people and they have nothing to ask me. And I question that, because I'm like, why would you want to be a part of something and you have no questions to ask?
So actually do some research ahead of time.
Absolutely. I've even interviewed candidates who didn't even know who I was. So I'm like, why would you want to be a part of an organization or a brand and you have no idea that I'm the founder of the company? You didn't even read the first page of the website. So those are the things that are really, really critical. No chewing gum, no distractions around you, turn your cell phone off. Try to find a good background for your interview. I'm telling you, people are looking at that. Interviewing in your bedroom is not the best idea. And most of my interviews take place in bedrooms. I have no idea why they won't go somewhere else. I'm like, you don't, and it could be that maybe the house is noisy, they're around other siblings, parents, etc. But I will be like, listen to my family, like, I have an interview between 9 and 9:30. I'm gonna need everybody to just be quiet in the house. I'm going in the living room. I'm going somewhere where there's a decent background, hopefully even a background with books or a plain wall, anything like that will really stand out. And make sure you're in front of a window so that way we can see you. Sometimes lighting is something that's just not taken into consideration, and it's really important to be able to be visible to the person that's interviewing you. Also, I've also gotten this, and this is very distracting and annoying as well. I've interviewed candidates while they're on their cell phones and they don't have their cell phone mounted or propped anywhere. So I'm like, the cell phone's doing this. Like, so I'm talking to them and I'm like, oh my God, your face is all over the camera. I'm so distracted. I'm not even listening to what you're saying. My eyes hurt because I can't focus. So don't do that. Don't do the moving phone or the phone's falling. Prop it up somewhere so it's steady and stable and we can have a good, non-distracting conversation.
I think that these are all great, and I'll just summarize. So first, be mindful of your appearance. The next one is do some research ahead of time and ask questions. The next thing is minimize or hopefully eliminate the distractions. That's in your background, that's in noise, that's in, and also the lighting. And, right now it's not working very well, but the window is here, right here. I'm sitting right next to the window, and I have my little light here that's not doing much right now, but it also has a camera mount. It costs $35, and it's got the light on it, and it's got the camera, the phone mount. And so whenever I do have to use, I try not to use my phone, but whenever I do have to use it, I can clip it in, and I'm talking right into my phone, and the light is right above it. And, it's a $35 Amazon purchase, and it's something probably every family should have, especially now.
Yeah.
It's an investment in whatever, the whole family could probably use it at some point, with everything going digital now. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. And then the last one was stabilize the phone, which, this little light and phone clip thing would help with that. But the one thing that I really heard you say, Aeshia, is there are certain interviews that stand out, and you want to stand out from the crowd. Can you just talk to us about how important it is to stand out from the crowd, but then secondly, to not stand out from the crowd in a negative way?
Yeah. Well, one of the main ways I feel like people stand out for me is when they come to an interview already like prepared with ideas for what they would do if they were in the position.
Oh, I like that.
And that to me, I'm like, wow, you're really, passionate about this. You've kind of thought this through. You're letting me know that this is something that you want to do, and you're willing to put your ideas out there before even knowing if you got the position. So those things really do like make me have that aha moment and say, okay, this candidate is worth my time.
Mm-hmm.
Also too, I love it when candidates ask me what am I looking for in someone in a position? That's always a great question, because it lets me know that they really do want to know if they're going to be a great fit. And then it also helps them prepare to be a great fit. It's like, oh, well, this is what she's expecting. If I do get this opportunity, I better bring A, B, and C to the table to be successful. So that's that. Being successful too with standing out with your audition video is really key. I like energy. I like storytelling. So those are the ways that you stand out. If you get personal in your video and let me know, some sort of background about yourself and why you wanted to be a part of something like this, that really does make you stand out more than just like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I would like to be a Pretty Girl Sweat ambassador because it looks like it's fun. Like, okay, let's do more than that, So those are some of the things. And also too, when I see people are dedicated to the organization or the brand ahead of time by submitting videos, so they're already wearing the merch, I'm like, oh, okay, you're really into this, Or if you come to the interview and you tell me something that you liked that you saw on the website, or something that you like that you saw on our social media platforms, that lets me know that you're truly engaged with the brand, and this is not something that you're just doing to do. You really are a part of the mission and the goal. So that's standing out on the positive side. Now, standing out on a negative side would be, you know what? This happened recently, and this really wasn't negative. But we had a candidate show up to an interview who was ill. She was, sick, and the interview became very distracting because obviously she was sneezing throughout the entire conversation. And she didn't want to reschedule. The issue really wasn't with her being sick, because obviously we can understand that. And I was actually impressed by her dedication to not want to reschedule. It's like, hey, I'm going to get this done because this is so important to me. But she also showed up not prepared, not wearing the right attire, her hair not being done. So it was a combination of all of those things that, I was like, if you kind of put forth effort in like getting your look together, but you were still sick, I could really respect that. But not caring at all, you should have just rescheduled, because, don't put yourself in that memorable position. So you did stand out, because I do remember you, but that wasn't the best way to stand out.
And I want to say, again, for people who are not watching this on video, when Aeshia's talking about do your hair. She's not talking about go get your $70 hairdo, get your weave in and all that stuff. She's simply talking about being presentable like you would if you were going outside. Don't
Absolutely.
look like you just rolled out of the bed.
Absolutely. You nailed it. I mean, a ponytail will take you, I always have a ponytail. Like whether I'm working out, I would wear a ponytail to I don't know, a black tie affair. I don't really care, but it's neat, it's slick, and it's back, and it costs me hardly anything. It's a little bit of gel and some water and, and some ponytail holders, and voila, I look presentable. I look put together. So it doesn't take much money to look put together. Just let me know you tried.
Love that. So let's talk about following up. So we have done our interview, we've done our presentation, and so is at the end of it, okay, I just know I killed that. I nailed it. I know she thinks I'm awesome. I'm just going to sit back and wait for her to call me up and send me my offer. Is that it?
No, 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 no. As soon as you complete an interview with anyone, you should follow up immediately via email, just to say thank you for the opportunity. I would then follow up again with a card in the mail to their business address and saying, I enjoyed speaking with you, maybe even highlight one of your favorite moments from the interaction or conversation within that note and send it off. Those little things help you stand out. They really do. And it also keeps you top of mind, because if a company is interviewing several applicants, it's hard. Sometimes I don't even remember. If there's not a video associated with an application and you weren't memorable, I won't even remember who you were, because I'm interviewing sometimes 40 people at a time. So it's those that really stood out in the interview, those who followed up, sent the note, also sent me an email. I'm like, okay, this person's really serious and interested in it. And then you can even go a step further, whether it's like a week or so later and you haven't heard back, you can reach out, not really even asking about the interview, but you could reach out just saying, oh, I found this article on you and I was, and I really loved it. Thank you for sharing this information, because it helped me in XYZ way. Or I saw an article that I thought would be interesting to you. I just wanted to share it. Hope all is well, and end it there. Just keep staying top of mind in a meaningful way. Yes. Like, don't be annoying, but, be helpful.
All right. I love this. So you've nailed the interview, you did your follow-up, your email, then you followed it up with something in Snail Mail, which hardly anyone ever uses anymore. So I don't even know. I mean, I have my daughter has a little stack of note cards with an S on it, for our last name, that I got for her. But you don't even need all that. You could probably just get a stack of notes. I think it's probably a good idea to always have a stack of notes that you can use for situations like that. And that's something that's, again, low cost. You could probably buy a stack of notes for $10.
Yeah, I got a big stack at Target, and they come in all different colors. So there's like 5 different envelope colors, and there's 5 different card colors, and they're just empty. They're plain. They're kind of fun,
right?
Because you can mix and match. You're like, oh, I want to do a red, envelope today with like, white, and then you can just pink or green or whatever. You just flip it around, and it's great. And you can send notes out to anyone to follow up.
So you think so? So what you're saying is the snail mail note is not dead.
It's not. It is not. And it helps you stand out. It is dead. It is dead. And that's why it helps you stand out.
Yeah. Because most people would simply follow up with an email and leave it at that. But, when you think about it.
That's the sad part. Most people won't even do the email. Some people will do the email, and then hardly no one will do the letter. So any of those things can help you stand out.
Okay. All right. So say that then once you get the internship, the role, can you talk to us about professionalism on the job or in the organization? Or once we got it, do we just say, all right, now I can just show them everything about me because they obviously accept everything about me. It's kind of like dating.
But it's so key to remain professional, and that's in every aspect. The way you talk to a person, the way you email. Don't start calling the person that is your superior or who you work for, your manager, by their nickname. No, just slow down. Really tune into being proper in the workplace, even if it's virtually. So important. And then also to kind of read your team, like understand like what's acceptable and what's not. They'll give you cues right away. But until they let you know that it's time to be a lot more casual, just continue to remain professional. I'd rather, they know that how they always say you should overdress rather than underdress. So it's better to just be overly professional and less casual in most situations until you find out that it's okay to kind of loosen up a bit.
And I think that's a good point. Now, this happened a long time ago, but I went to work for a startup company. I'm practiced law for a bajillion years. And so while I was still practicing, I went to work with a startup company. Now, I had come from a big corporate environment where I know some of you young ladies might not even know what this is, but I used to have to wear pantyhose every day. Every day. And I mean, I was practicing law when women weren't allowed to wear pants in the courtroom. So I'm totally dating myself. So I went from that environment to working with a technology startup company. Now, I knew that I wasn't going to wear my pantyhose and high heels to the startup company, but I did dress for my interview. When I went to my interview, the guy who was interviewing me, who was going to be my boss, was wearing shorts.
Right.
So I knew that, okay, I didn't need to wear the pantyhose once I started working, but I still dressed, well above business casual. But I have to say, after I've been working there for about a year, I too was wearing shorts to work. But it took me a while to evolve to that, right? So that's basically, that's what Aeshia's saying, go in at the top, and then you can eventually figure out, what's acceptable and what's not. And even if I wore shorts to work, if we were having, people in, or if the folks who were actually funding the startup were coming in, I would at least go back to business casual. But I had observed that was kind of the flow after working there for a while. But you don't just lead with the shorts.
No. Not at all. Not at all. I just thought of another way too that most candidates stand out once they get the position. Just staying current. Most people are hired because of what they can bring to the table. And there's nothing worse than bringing somebody in who just shows up and waits for you to tell them what to do every day. They have no ideas. Like, they don't know what's going on in the world. They don't know what's going on within their own demographic. I'm like, the reason why you're here is because we need you to tell us what's hot in your demographic, but you don't know anything. That's a problem. So staying on top of things, talking to your peers, reading different publications, scouring social media. You should know what is trending on Twitter, what's trending on Instagram, what's trending on TikTok, just on YouTube, everything. You should know what people your age are up to, because you can bring that information to whatever we're working on, and then it will help us, be able to work with that group as well, or target that group through our efforts. So yeah, that's really important.
I love that. I love that. And I have an intern who just started with me a couple of weeks ago, and his whole thing is learning about my industry and what I do. And he has sent me 1,000 questions, and I'm so happy that he's asking the questions. He's just not out there because he's going to manage my social media. So obviously he needs to understand the market and, talk about taking initiative. I didn't ask him to do this, and I really don't know how he did it, but he's captured my landing page and somehow changed the colors, moved stuff around. And then he sent me an email yesterday giving me a list of, here are some things that I see that could be challenges with your website, and here's how I would fix it.
Oh, wow. There we go.
I didn't even hire him to do anything with my website, right? But I'm like, I'm hiring this guy, right now he's doing an unpaid internship, but you know, at the end of our internship, if he keeps going the way he's going, he's definitely getting hired because he is showing initiative well above what I ever expected. And so he could be doing exactly what I asked him to do. Or as you said, Aeshia, he could be immersing himself in, you know, the market and things like that. And that stands out.
Yes, it does.
It really does. I love it. So do you have any final things that you'd like to share with our audience to help them present themselves in a positive light and truly stand out? Because that's what, you know, I'm repositioning this, my podcast, and it's all about standing out and, you know, being that outlier that people remember and that people want to work with, want to bring onto their university, want to hire. So anything else that you can help our listeners with?
Yes. I would say I would love to leave you with the importance of being self-aware. Really get to know yourself, read a lot, and that will help you get to know yourself better. A couple of books that I love that could be helpful for young people. The 4 Agreements, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. They should read that. There's another book called The Personal Touch that is awesome, that teaches you how to stand out as well. So get those books, really dive into them, take notes, and figure out who you are as a person and how you can really make an impact in whatever career field you choose. And always take every opportunity as an opportunity to succeed. You know, whether you are interning at a company or, you know, you're working at a fast food restaurant, all of these are stepping stones to get you to where you want to go. So never think of an opportunity as like, oh, well, I'm just doing this right now, but I shouldn't take it as seriously because this is not what I'm going to be doing in the future. You should really be taking advantage of every experience and learning as much as you can, because it's only going to help prepare you for where you are going to be. And what you can do now is showing up on time every single day, giving your best effort, asking questions, because that stands out. And that person that you're working for could be the very person that's going to help elevate you to your next step in life. So if you show up, you know, not giving it your all or having a terrible attitude, which is something that can really affect everyone in your surroundings at a company or a business, you know, that stuff stands out and people remember that. They don't want to give you good recommendations when it's time to move on to your next thing. So, you know, there's no small job. That's what I will say. There's no small job. It's just only an opportunity to get better. And every day you should be better than you were the day before.
And I think that you made a very good point. This young man is doing an unpaid internship. He's putting in work. I mean, he's working really hard. He's either going to get a job at the end of this or he's going to get a stellar recommendation. If you do work and you can't get a stellar recommendation, you've wasted your time. So kids keep that in mind. So I should let everybody know how they can reach you and learn more about you.
Well, you can go to my website, prettygirlsweat.com. You can also follow us on social media everywhere at Pretty Girl Sweat. We are on Instagram, really heavy, so follow us there, Pretty Girl Sweat. And my personal page is Aeshia DeVore Branch on Instagram. So if you want to follow up on my daily antics with my family and like the crazy things that we're doing and how we're staying sane during the pandemic and beyond, you can catch up with me there.
Awesome. And I'll have all her links in the show notes. So you can go there if you are looking at the podcast. Awesome. Thank you so much, Aeshia. You've been, I think that you've helped a lot of kids perhaps rethink things. So
that's what I'm here. Happy to help. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.